So I think there's maybe even starting before, like, is it profitable? I think part of the questions, and one of the things I see a lot is, are you aligned to the goals, right, of the business? And so I think a lot of times marketing, you see everyone talking about like marketing should be measured off of pipeline and revenue and all these sorts of things. But I don't see it in practice a ton, right? And so I think one of the first things you really need to do is align with your CEO or CFO to say like, okay, if our goal is $1 million and we need 4x pipeline coverage, how much of that is responsible to come from marketing and how much is sales driving themselves, right? Because then you can kind of reverse engineer the numbers that you need. So if you're responsible for 50% of that, you can say, okay, cool, we need 2 million in pipeline, which means we need, 50 opportunities to hit that at our current close rates, and then back that into a lead number to say we need 300 leads, whatever that might be. Then I think the exercise is, okay, what are we doing today and where is that all coming from? So if we didn't do anything today different, do we have 300 leads coming in the door? And maybe it's like, oh, we only have 200. So now you have the delta of what you need to solve for. And I think the second component of that is understanding the metrics of the business. And so you'll have to sit down with kind of the CFO, and this will make the CFO really happy actually when you do this, is say, I want to understand if we're profitable, but I need to better understand like what is profitable for our company, right? Like what is a good acquisition cost for marketing, just on pure marketing spend? Forget about headcount and the fully loaded. Just like when we break it down, and then you can say like, okay, if we acquire new deals at $1,000, that works for us. And so from there, you can say like, okay, one out of every four of our opportunities turns into a deal. So we can spend $250 for an opportunity. Back that down a little bit further. One of every five of our leads turns into an opportunity. We can spend $50 to acquire a lead, right? And then you have a metric you can actually apply to all the stuff you're doing. Because the reality is like, you can get low cost leads. It might convert a lot less. And a lot of times you'll see that, right? Where it's like, we're getting content downloads, but they convert horribly. Well, they're not probably going to convert as high as, organic demo requests. But if they're converting at the right dollar amount, it could still work within your model. And so you really need to understand like the goals that you have and then the model that you're working under to understand like, is something profitable? Is it not? And then also where you have opportunity, because you might look at it and say, man, this one channel is working really well for us. We're getting leads and they're actually converting a lot higher than the other channels. We should start investing more in there. And when you have that conversation with the CFO, usually what happens is the conversation goes exactly there, right? Most companies are willing to fund marketing activities that they know are working. If you can go and tell your CEO, like this program, we want to scale it up and here's why, they'll probably happily give you the budget to go out and do that. That said, not everything in marketing can be measured, right? And so I think part of it is like, there are these other holistic activities that kind of go on, like podcasts and things like that are a little bit trickier to measure. So I think one of the exercises you kind of have to get alignment around is not everything is going to be measured, but we can all just kind of agree that doing a podcast and putting it out there is good engagement. It's good marketing. And so some of the stuff you just kind of have to have a leap of faith to say like, I can't directly measure this, but I know podcasts work. I know that we get really good engagement. I know we get good feedback from it. I know our prospects like it. It's when we get it mentioned on sales calls. What's the value of that? I'm not exactly sure. So I think positioning out some of your budget, I think, for those types of activities is a big piece of it, and saying like, this is going to be a little bit unmeasurable.